All right, how you doing? So it's late Saturday. I'm back in Vegas, man. So that was a pretty cool trip out there in Nashville, and it's good to probably take some rest and so forth. Okay, I do work very very hard. I mean, I work almost every day, and I probably should be resting, like particularly on Saturday. I guess me being a Christian messianist. But there's just sometimes where you have to maintain things, and I try to cut corners to where maybe one day I could retire early, all right, or if I want to take a week off or whatever, all right, probably I don't know, every 6 weeks to go see my kids or to go visit my family out east. I do so I should be taking time off, but I don't. I work a lot, and I do that for a reason. But I do have a life, so those 4 days off were very refreshing. But I want to get into to this one topic about Ishmaelman Etut, okay, and Jerry Smith. These two gentlemen were out there in Blacksburg, Virginia, all right, my home state. All right, there's been a lot of stuff going on out in Virginia. So Mr. Etut was a football player, okay, and he pretty much beat Mr. Smith to death for posing as a woman, and Mr. Smith was a man on a date. All right, and according to the reports, okay, from the article that I read, where Mr. Etut, I guess, felt around for genitals, and I guess it turned out to be, testicles, and pretty much beat this man to death or whatever for not being honest. All right, they met on Tinder, so I don't know. You really have to be really careful, like on these dating sites, particularly like Tinder. All right, these hookup sites, and they got all kinds of people on there. They got swingers on there. They got trannies on there. Gay people. All right, and no disrespect and all that. All right, but it's just all kinds of characters on there. These dating sites, you got, excuse me, you got all kinds of monsters on there. You got child molesters, okay, sex offenders. All right, and you really, really have to be careful to try to get to know, somebody. Hopefully that you guys will click and get along. All right, but you really have to be careful. And that applies in the streets as well. All right, because a lot of that culture, particularly the hookup culture, is so pervasive now that it's out in the streets. But in my opinion, I think what happened was, okay, because this was from another report that I guess these two individuals, they hooked up twice, and I guess this was the second time where Mr. Etut was supposed to be, been receiving what they call fellatio, and I guess he found out then, and again he beat this man to death. Now I don't know if this was a thing where maybe he was in on that, and maybe somebody found out and told him, all right, that this guy had posed as a woman, and maybe he beat this guy to death just to retain his honor, to get his honor back, okay? But they had a movie about that about 20-something years ago, where there was, let's see here, it was a lady that tried to pose as a guy, all right? I believe it was in college or in the military, and it was dealing with somebody. And what I think that happened is, the person that individual was dealing with, all right, had knew it. I guess the guys, I think the guys were teasing him about it, and probably for him to get his honor back or whatever, all right, then he bludgeoned that individual to death. And I think this is a very similar case. All right, so, man, I don't know what to say other than, man, if you find yourself in a situation like that, and I'm not trying to promote it, but, man, you might want to check around or whatever, maybe for some genitals before I'm thinking something like that happens and so forth. So, hey, man, there is serious, let's say, biblical offenses, well, according to biblical scripture, about things like transvestism and homosexuality and stuff like that. The punishment is death. And back in the day, they took that stuff very, very seriously or whatever, all right? When I say they, Israelites and Jews and so forth, all right? Not saying that it didn't go on then, all right, but that stuff, they weren't supposed to be doing that stuff. And yes, you would be stoned to death. So this is a cautionary tale. These dating sites could be a trap, and be careful at all times, though, all right? Because you can find yourself talking to maybe a lady, and then the lady could turn out to be a man, all right, that you speaking with online, or vice versa, though, ladies. All right, I'm not going to go on and on with this, but I'll say this, like I am a targeted individual, all right? So, there's still people talking about me when basically I was told to pretty much to let things go, all right? And I still get comments about maybe when they think that they know me, and about things that I'm alleged to do, which is not true, on this topic or whatever, all right? And when pretty much where I debated with a lady on another site about, men and women or whatever, all right? Maybe some of these wicked men that she debated about, and I just said, well, what about some of these women, according to Isaiah 3, chapter 3 or whatever, that were haughty, okay? And somebody that I know very well has got the audacity to come on the site, on somebody else's site, posing as a woman, okay? Since they want to prove a point, telling me STFU, I missed the mark, okay? See, partner, don't think I don't know who you are, since you want to keep making videos about me, all right? When you the one that told me to let things go, when you sit up here posing as a woman, well, just say it like this: you a married man with about 4 or 5 kids, posing as a woman, okay, on somebody else's site, telling